The rig is a towering skeleton of steel, rising up and out of the water. To walk across its surface from one place to the next is to walk between enormous ribs of cold metal beneath the glare of 100 blinking lights, like watchful eyes in the darkness, red, yellow, white, staring. The military infrastructure on this rig is minimal, at best. Communications facilities with direct channels to superiors, a maintenance station, and a unique, modified phalanx CIWS, an enormous gun, anti-ship in its original design. We use it when required if the shadow in the sea gets too close. My name is Alejandro. I work for the US Army. I dislike working on this rig, but I get no choice in the matter. I am stationed here currently with Cody and Evie, 2 fellow soldiers, and about 60 rig workers too, though our interactions with the crew are minimal. They think we bring bad luck. They might well be right. The rig is 250 miles east off the coast of New Jersey. The wind is cold and fierce, and I shiver at my station as I squint out over the waves, gradually increasing in their intensity as they churn and froth against the rig's great legs. Cody steps up beside me. I don't know what she's doing here. In the army, I mean, not on the rig. Our purpose on the rig is clear, even if it makes little sense. But Cody was always too soft for this life, and now she's just too scared to quit, I think. I don't even blame her. Being told what to do is a pain, but at least we have our instructions. Instructions are simple. It's going to rain tonight, Alejandro, she says to me. You think? Oh, I know. My hearing's playing up again. Means it's going to rain. I reply, disinterested. Also, Command gave me the weather report earlier, she says. In fact, look over there. You can see the edge of the rain if you look real hard. I follow her finger, and sure enough, on the gray horizon, there is a shadowed column of rain in the far distance, beneath a steadily rolling, building crescendo of clouds. The relevance of the rain is significant. The DOTP is far more likely to arrive during such weather. The greater the obscurity in our surroundings, the more likely it is to appear. I lean back against the rail behind me and rub a hand across my weary eyes. Allow me to explain our duties here. The DOTP is an acronym for Disturber of the Peace. It's the name that Cody and Evie and I came up with to describe the anomaly that plagues this particular rig. The DOTP arrives only at night, between the hours of 0100 and 0600. It takes the form of a Greenpeace ship, a small to mid-size icebreaker typically. The name of the ship varies. The ship that most often frequents the rig goes by the name of the Watchful Guardian, though we've also had visits from Rainbow's End and Forgotten Queen. We've been in contact with Greenpeace, the organization, the real one. They have no knowledge of such ships and claim no affiliation. The ships arrive out of nowhere, through mist, or from the waves themselves, if you're lucky enough to witness an arrival. The crew on board is unique to each of the 3 ships, though the 3 crews are constant. I know this only by the clothes they wear and by their voices. Their faces are covered to protect them from the cold and the wind. Face masks, thick scarves, ski goggles, and the like. It unnerved me at first. Now it's just a part of the experience. I sigh. It's all so tiresome. The boredom, the brief little stabs of stress, the circular nature of the cycles of fear, the repetitiveness of it all. The Greenpeace vessel will try to encourage us to join them. That's their thing, to try and encourage us to abandon the rig. And then, when the shadow is due to arrive in the sea, the vessel departs. Off they sail into the mists, and they vanish. The next time they come by, they have absolutely no memory of their previous visits. It's maddening really, if one chooses to think about it. I choose not to. Instead, I shoot the shit with Cody. Do you ever wonder where the DOTP goes when it leaves for the night? She asks me. It's not the first time she's asked this question. I tell her, don't much care anymore. Yeah, but you don't really care about anything, she mutters. Untrue, I say back, but I don't have the energy to argue. Why don't they remember us? She asks. The crew, I mean. How come they always forget? Maybe it's all just an illusion, a trick, so that the shadow in the water can get us. No, she says, shaking her head and wrinkling her nose. I don't think so. The ship always seems pretty scared of the shadow. If it wasn't for the shadow, then it might even stay all night trying to convince us to join them. But the shadow always comes, I say, looking out over the water as the sun disappears beneath the sea. It always does. Yeah, she murmurs. Yeah, I guess that's true. Still, I don't think the crew are evil. They seem too nice. Maybe they really are trying to. They seem too nice, I repeat, shaking my head. They're dangerous. Don't let them into your head. Yeah, she says quietly. Sure. A noise behind me bids me turn, and I make eye contact with a rig worker. He gives me a curt nod, glances to Cody, then carries on along his way, ascending a mesh metal set of stairs to the level above. They think it's our fault. You know, I say to Cody, again, not for the first time. Our topics of conversation tend to go round and around. Circular. The rig workers think we're the ones who bring the ship, who draw in the shadow. Maybe we are, she shrugs. Bullshit. The anomalies came first, and we were sent out here to deal with it all. It's not like the ship is dangerous though, Cody says. It's never actually attacked us. Yeah, that's because we're here. I know you're familiar with deterrence, Cody. We studied it together. She opens her mouth to continue, but I'm not done. And besides, the shadow in the water is definitely dangerous. Maybe our presence here is the only thing stopping the shadow from doing what the DOTP always promises it will. And hell, who knows what their true motives are? I'm not convinced, she replies. Are we a deterrent to the shadow too, do you think? Does it even know we're here? Oh, it knows, I mutter. It fucking knows. Night falls. Evie has joined us now. We watch as a trio, our eyes peeled for any hint that tonight might be a night that the disturber of the peace makes an appearance. There's no way of knowing really. As I said earlier, bad weather increases the likelihood, but it's never guaranteed. Command have been trying to establish a pattern, but if they have one, they haven't chosen to share it with us on the rig. I don't know why we're bothering to even look out for it. The ship, I mean. Just force of habit, I guess. And the small matter of it being our orders to do so, of course. I suppose it is rather unnerving when the ship appears out of thin air. I don't like being caught by surprise. The rain falls, the waves froth and crash far beneath us. I'm going to check out the north side, Evie says to us. What? Cody shouts above a sudden blast of wind. North side, Evie says again, louder. I'm going to look for it, there. No, I call out. No, don't bother. It's already here. She turns. The Greenpeace ship has begun its grim emergence. Waves crash and bulge out at sea in a way dissimilar to all the other waves around it. The mist thickens in this area, and in this area alone. I think I catch a glimpse of a shiny white-gray hull, but it is hidden from sight almost immediately as the mist breaks like a bubble and disperses out and across the water. Attention, Evie murmurs beside me. Attention, comrades of the rig. The voice comes blaring across the sea just a few seconds later, rumbling from a megaphone and carried by the wind. Attention, comrades of the rig. I chuckle, raising my rifle. It won't do jack shit from here, but again, it's part of the procedure. Deterrence, warning shots if required, etc. The vessel begins to enter into plain sight. From the fog it rises and crashes through the waves, roughly parallel to us, but drawing slowly closer. I grab the binoculars and peer through them for a quick look. I recognize the crew, of course. I scan down to the ship's name, Watchful Guardian. Yes, it's our regular visitor. I look back over the deck. I count 5 people, all standing roughly the same distance apart, one holding the megaphone. He wears a thick blue parka and a blue mask with an orange visored pair of goggles. The others are all adorned in colorful clothing too. There's a woman amongst them who wears a pink jacket. She holds the megaphone sometimes. It's impossible to tell the gender of the others. They never speak to us, so we can't even tell by way of their voices. Comrades of the rig, comes the voice again. This rig and the people upon it are in mortal danger. The beast approaches, and you will need to evacuate onto our vessel immediately. Do you want to do it this time, Jandro? Evie asks me, holding out the megaphone. A roar of wind makes us all take a step back, and her ponytail is sent whipping around her shoulders. I reach out for the megaphone. Sure, I say, bringing it up to my mouth and lowering my weapon. I step up to the rail and lean out over the edge. Thank you for your concern, I call back over the water, but this rig is well equipped to defend itself. Thank you, now please, be on your way. You don't understand, the man on the deck replies. He throws out a desperate arm and plea. Your drilling here has encouraged the attention of the beast. He will strike and attack and bring down this rig before the morning. You need to allow us to dock so we can get everyone to safety. You are approaching the limit of the safety zone of this installation. I call back, well familiar and well bored of this tired old routine. Your ship is in danger of wreckage. Turn your boat around and steer clear. The ship draws closer. It's close enough now for me to read the vessel's name without the use of the binoculars. The man lowers the megaphone and says something inaudible to the woman in pink. They both gesticulate wildly, then the man brings the megaphone back up to his lips. If we are able to dock, then you have a chance to escape. Do you have no radar equipment available? The beast will be converging on this location as we speak. There isn't time for debate. If you want to live, then you need to board. Now, thunder ripples through the sky and a faraway flash casts deep but temporary shadows across our environment. We have radar capabilities, of course, by the way, but they never reveal anything in the water. Sometimes we get readings from the DOTP itself, but not always. You are too close to the rig and at risk of wreck. If we believe you to pose a threat to the US citizens aboard this rig, then we will shoot down your ship. Please consider this a warning. Turn your vessel around and depart. Please, shouts the man with such intense desperation that even despite the frequency of this little performance, it still gets to me, that gnawing doubt. I push it away. Turn your ship around, I shout back. You will not be warned again. We are receiving no signal or suggestion of any threat to this rig but yourself. Turn your ship around. Sometimes the DOTP leaves at this point. Sometimes it doesn't. There are a great many variables and the three of us spend our mornings following these incidents writing up play-by-plays for command to study. As I said before, we're yet to receive any meaningful intel back for our report writing. Maybe one day, though our shifts will probably be done by then. Maybe there'll be something useful for the next crew. The man in blue hesitates. He talks to the woman in pink as his other three shipmates stand motionless, sea legs of iron as the ship rocks and sways on the surface of the sea, but they themselves stand stock still. He brings up the megaphone. Comrade, allow us to dock. This entire rig must be evacuated. The beast will tear this entire apparatus and the people upon it to shreds, or worse. Please, you must evacuate. You are in danger. All right, I mutter to Cody, fire a warning shot. She hesitates. I look at her. Cody, fire already. She does. There's a bang and a brief flash, though it's impossible to tell if the bullet even struck the ship. The man in blue gets the message, however. I appreciate your concerns, he shouts, but this is no trick and no trap. The beast approaches. We can save you. We can take you to safety. Don't you get it? Please, at least let us dock. Talk to us. Turn your ship around, Captain. I bellow into the megaphone. Or the shots we fire will increase in intensity until the threat your vessel poses to us has been neutralized. Why are you firing at us? The man shouts back. For fuck's sake, we're trying to help you here. Don't you care? Do you think me a liar? I cannot risk the lives of my crew for you, so this is your final chance. Allow this vessel to dock at the rig, and you will be able to make an escape. We have space aplenty for Evie, stationed with the Phalanx CIWs, brings the great gun around with a rattle and a mechanical crunch, aiming the barrel at the hull of the watchful Guardian. The man stops mid-sentence and lowers the megaphone. He shakes his head in frustration and says something to the woman in pink, who immediately runs from the deck and through a door in the cabin. You were warned, soldiers, he calls back. May God save you. I'm sorry. And with this, he too strides from the deck. The other three follow in single file. A horn blares from the ship, cutting through the froth and churn of the dark waves and the rush of the rain. The watchful Guardian groans and rumbles and picks up speed, arcing around and away from us in a slow circle. They're leaving quickly tonight, Cody says anxiously. Don't you think? I glance at my watch. No, not really, she shifts. I don't know. Haven't you noticed this? I swear they've started leaving easier and easier. Easier? Evie asks, stepping down from the rig's weapon. Yeah, you know, like, they don't put up much of a fight. Remember way back in the beginning? We could argue with them for hours. Well, we threaten them a little more now. I respond with a shrug. Saves us time, for sure. Cody does not respond. She only chews her tongue in thought. A low, bone-trembling rumble warbles through the air. It comes from beneath and shakes the rig in time to the thunder. I can feel myself paling, the blood draining. I hate this part. I know that we'll be okay, I know it. But this part is still by far the worst. Cody grips the rail, her eyes widening. The beast is louder this time too, she says. No, you're imagining things. Evie cuts in. Come on, split and search. Let's see where the thing's going to appear this time. We separate, running down the sides of the deck. The location of the beast's arrival is useful intel. Typically it appears at the opposite side of the rig to the DOTP, but again, it's not a guaranteed rule. The rig is deserted as I run between its steel. The workers stay well clear of us during this ritual. It hampers productivity somewhat, I suppose, but hell, I don't really give a shit about any of that. And I don't blame them. 2 agonizing minutes pass by. Every second that goes by without seeing the beast sends my anxiety levels spiking. Every night I convince myself that this will be the one time that the DOTP has told us the truth. That the shadow in the water will attack and bring down the rig. That we'll be consumed, drowned, taken, torn apart. Or worse. My heart stops for a moment when I catch sight of it. The shadow in the water. The beast. I grab my flashlight and hold it up the sky, flickering the thing on and off, on and off. The others, if they see it, will come to join me. If not, well, the rig isn't that big. They'll find me eventually. I peer over the edge, the wind cold against the exposed skin of my face. The beast is, by my guess, about a half-mile long. It is difficult to tell exactly how long, however, as its shadow only becomes visible as it approaches the surface, and it frequently dips and lowers as it navigates the depths of the surrounding sea. My teeth are sent shivering in my gums as that dreadful, deep-sea roar reverberates around the steel of the rig, goosebumps rippling up my arms and neck. Hey, Evie says from beside me. Found it. Whew, that definitely took longer than usual tonight. You know, I sometimes fear that. Yeah, I interrupt, knowing what she's going to say. Yeah, I know. Same. The shadow slithers and snakes beneath the waves, and due to its size gives off the illusion of being slow-moving. It's not until it's right beneath us, however, beginning its dutiful circling of our station, that one really gets a sense of its speed. The beast begins to circle, around and around. I try to keep the warning words of the DOTP out of my head. I make a mental note of the location of the beast's arrival for when it comes time to write up my report, and I exchange a few words with Evie. She nods and returns to the CIWs. She may or may not fire down into the beast. Hopefully, she won't. It's rare, very rare indeed, that we are ever required to strike the shadow itself. But those nights are not fun. They are not fun in the slightest. I walk the perimeter of the rig until I locate Cody. She stares down into the water, watching in silence. You good? I ask her. She nods, but does not respond. The beast departs as the weather begins to improve, still in the depths of the night, but the rain and the wind are lessening now. With one final, terrible roar, the beast breaks its circling and begins to slither off and away into the sea, quickly descending back down and vanishing from sight. I allow myself a deep, slow, calming breath of Atlantic air, almost tangibly feeling the tension leave my muscles. Great. Wonderful. Another night done and time for bed. I'll write up the first draft of the report out, then go over it and update it in the morning. It's important to write down everything of note before going to sleep while the memories are fresh. I am always careful to keep Cody's comments omitted. When she questions our role here, or the hostility of the DOTP, she just speaks before thinking. She's like that. She doesn't mean anything by it. Her words would be considered blasphemous by some, and I'm no narc. I write up what I need to and head to my dorm, crashing quickly into a dreamless sleep. It's 4 more days until the DOTP returns, and we can all tell it's going to be one of those nights, even before the sun has set. Everyone, including the rig workers, are on edge. The clouds spend the course of the day slowly gathering, growing, billowing up and out, and filling with ice and with brutal, bitter water. And I am afraid this evening. Actually afraid. I hate myself for it, but I can't help it. It's the same every time, Alejandro, I tell myself. The exact same. We are never attacked, nothing ever happens. Just stick with it. You'll be fine. And so we prepare for the night. We await the coming of the DOTP as the first great sheets of rain begin to wash their way across the horizon towards us. I cringe and brace as the first icy droplets fall onto my face. Then more, and then in seconds, the sound of the torrent against the steel and into the sea is almost deafening. I feel weird tonight, Jandro, Cody says to me, fidgeting. Like, I don't know, something's different. No, it isn't. I gruffly reply, it's the same as it always is. The last time the beast was here, she begins, but I cut her off. No, Cody, don't think about it. There are variations, but the state of play is always the same. The DOTP arrives, it leaves. The shadow arrives, it leaves. That's all there is to it. She murmurs something else, but I don't hear what she says over the sound of the rain. She glances over the rails and into the churning water below. What is it? I ask her. Evie looks over too. Nothing, she says, glancing at me from beneath her hood. I thought I saw, what? I ask. Nothing, she finishes lamely before turning to take her leave, preparing for her perimeter walk in search of the DOTP. Our line of sight is dreadful tonight, absolutely dreadful. Evie and I have to get the searchlight working, something we very rarely use as it limits our night vision. But when we don't have much of a vision at all, our options are limited. We only have the one though, so once it's up and running I take command of it, and the two of us use it to scour the sea. Nothing appears. It's gotta appear tonight, surely, Evie asks. I mean on an night like this, surely. You'd think, but maybe not. I grunt and swing the searchlight around. Maybe it isn't coming tonight at all. Evie snorts with grim laughter. Yeah, if you say so. She pauses. Cody's taking her sweet time, an offhand comment, but still, I lean back from the searchlight. I make eye contact with her. I'm going to go and check up on her, I say, outwardly calm but inside, suddenly panicked. Evie nods, sensing the change in atmosphere. I relinquish control of the light, and I set off around the rig's perimeter at a half jog. Cody should have been back by now. She should have been back ages ago. I increase my pace a little, boots splashing in the shining puddles across the rig's surface. They clang against a set of metal mesh stairs as I descend down to a lower platform. I glance up and out to sea. Fuck, I swear out loud and slip on the stairs, grabbing onto the rail for support. I can see the boat, one of the disturbers of the piece, and it's docked. It's fucking docked at the rig, way out on the opposite side. I break into a run now, sprinting between the bars and metal bones of the surrounding apparatus, skidding across the platform towards it. I take the final set of stairs 3 at a time, landing heavily at the bottom and running across to where the ship rocks and shudders in the waves beside the lowermost platform. And there is Cody, preparing to board. She looks back at me and our eyes meet. Cody, I scream out into the storm. What is she doing? What the fuck is she doing? She quickly looks away and jumps across to the ship's deck. She lands with a stumble and is welcomed into the arms of the woman in pink, adorned in mask and gloves and goggles. The man in blue is also there. This must be the watchful guardian. Not that it matters, I suppose. Comrade, he calls through the megaphone. Welcome. Quickly, jump across to the ship. There's still time to get you out of here. To get you all out of here. I stop at the edge of the dock, panting. I've never seen the crew of the DOTP so close. They stand completely still, legs shoulder width apart, all facing towards me. Cody's hair is blown out to the side in the gale. She clenches her fists and then says something to the man in blue. He nods and passes her the megaphone. Alejandro, she shouts through the device. I think we're supposed to board. They're just going to keep coming. We have to board for the cycle to end. What the hell are you talking about? I shout back, though I have to really project without the use of a megaphone of my own. Who cares about the damned cycle? Cody, get back onto the rig right now. You are in danger. How could you be so stupid? She violently shakes her head. Tonight is the night. Jandro, the beast is finally going to take down the rig. please. If you don't want to be torn apart and lost beneath the sea, then you have to board. They're just trying to save us. Have you lost your mind, Cody? I scream back. I raise the rifle and aim at the man in blue. Cody steps in front of him, blocking the shot. Jesus, I shout at her, furious and terrified. Cody, please don't do this. Don't do this. There's still time. I give voice to this thought. There's still time to come back. Please. She hands the megaphone back to the man in blue. Comrade, the beast approaches. Are you able to evacuate the rig? Everyone needs to be off in the next few minutes. Please send her back, I shout to him. Let Cody off the ship. I don't understand. He calls back. You need to join us. This whole rig is going down. You won't stand a chance against the beast. I'm sorry. Please, evacuate the rig. I take aim and I fire. The megaphone flies out of his hands, a large piece shattered right off. The man in blue stumbles back in alarm as it clatters to the deck. He makes a gesture to his crew, and at once they retreat into the cabin. The ship's engine starts to groan. Cody shouts something at me, but I don't hear what she says. The man crouches swiftly down and grabs the damaged megaphone, calling back one last time. I'm sorry, but I can't put my crew's lives in danger like this. May God help you. I hope by some miracle you survived the attack, soldier. And with that, he departs. He opens the door to the ship's cabin and gestures for Cody to go inside. Cody, I shout, please just come back. But the ship is pulling away from the dock, rising and falling in the angry waves. And with a final glance, Cody passes through the doorway and the man in blue follows. The ship pulls back and sails off into the storm. I take aim and fire off a few more shots, though I don't know why I'm bothering. I manage to mark the hull, a nice clear bullet hole by the G of Watchful Guardian. But there is nothing of any use that I can do. Nothing I can do but watch in distress as the ship turns away, as it sails off through the chaos of the storm and sea, plunging through the waves and into a slowly spreading cloud of mist, vanishing from sight. And the beast follows. It always does. And tonight is the worst. I have never felt so close to death. It wastes no time in its emergence, the great encircling shadow, and I am trapped in a state of terror. Why would Cody board the ship? Why would she board unless she knew that this is the night that the rig goes down? It's going to attack. The beast is going to attack the rig. We're going to see it in all its truth, in all its horror. I race from the platform's edge to its opposite and back, always keeping eyes on the beast. I relay the situation to Evie, who struggles to believe me, even with the intensity in my voice. Shots are fired into the beast as that monstrous roar ripples up through the rig's metal, as it echoes with the thunder, and the waves are sent crashing and frothing above the slithering shadow. The night drags on. Years of my life are lost to the storm through the sheer stress of the situation. The searchlight swings round and around, but the beast does not attack. Maddeningly, thankfully, torturously, the beast does not attack. Even after everything, the storm, the foreshadowings, the warnings, there is simply no attack. The beast just circles around and around and around until the storm starts at last to subside. With a final, menacing, watery roar, the shadow begins its final descent, breaking off from its path, swimming out to sea and sinking back down into the depths until it is lost completely from sight. The rain eases, the wind calms, and the sun steadily begins to rise, casting its thin gray light across the surface of the sea, and I only stare, still in a state of shock, eyes bloodshot, and hands trembling on my rifle. Cody is all I can think. She's gone. I did see her again. Cody, I mean, during my time on the rig. Several times actually. The DOTP and the accompanying beast appeared to us on 6 more nights. On one of those nights we were visited by Rainbow's End, the other Forgotten Queen, but the other 4 were our regular, the Watchful Guardian. The man in blue was still there, the woman in pink also, but neither of them were the one to call over to us on those final 4 visits. It was Cody, always Cody, adorned in goggles that covered her eyes and a thin black mask that covered her face. She called over to Evie and I on the megaphone. She was still wearing her military camo, still equipped with her rifle, and all she did was beg us to join her, to allow them to dock and for us to board the ship, to evacuate the rig and to escape. Each time she tried, she was convinced that the rig was about to go down, that the beast was truly about to tear us all apart. She seemed completely oblivious of her previous visits, and seemingly the events surrounding her own choice to board the DOTP in the first place. I considered shooting her, you know. I looked through the sights of my rifle, wondered if a shot from that range would strike, and then decided against it. Maybe one day she'll find her way back. Maybe I'll get stationed on the rig again. I've requested it, but I'm awaiting the results of my psychological assessments. Time will tell, I guess, but all I can say for certain is that the damn thing is still standing. As of the time of writing, the beast is yet to finally tear it down, so make of that what you will, I guess.